Okay, so we just went through the four fundamental factors of each of us. Regardless whether we choose to accept them, they are the truth. They are undeniable. They are unbreakable, unchangeable. They are who you are. Now, there's the individual markers. As you can see in this next slide, individual markers. Four fundamental markers combined with the individual markers. Those individual markers, the DNA that we talked about, God has placed desires in your heart. God has given you skills. God has crafted you for a purpose to fulfill. So these things are within you already. He has already given you that place in the future. He's already given you that destiny. He's already given you the skills and the desires. We need to unbury that treasure. We might be moving in some of those things that come easy to us, but we need to hone and we need to polish and grow some of the others, and we need to unbury. Right? They've been buried. We need to dig up the treasure that's in each of us so that we can begin to utilize and steward what God has placed in each of us, those individual markers combined with those four fundamental markers. It is the very who am I and why am I here? And I believe through prayer, introspection, and an assessment, we can truly come to understand our identity and purpose that God had destined for each of us, because each of us has those specific. We may cross over. Some of us may have some of the same skills and things that come easy, proclivities and abilities, but not entirely. And we may grab a piece from that person that we like to see, the training and this and that. It just stands in with who you are. Remember, you are unique. Don't be somebody else. We'll speak to that a little bit here as well. All right. So those four fundamental factors combined with those individual markers, the design, the desire, is truly your identity. Your identity, persona, how you are seen in heaven, the name that's given in heaven. I don't know if you remember in the Bible, it speaks to Saul became Paul, and Sarah became Sarah, and Abraham, and so on and so forth. The name that you're seen in heaven. You have an earthly character, there's no question about that, but God sees you in that place, in that future, and you need to begin to recognize your identity in the fullness of who you are, the persona, the name that God has called you to be. Accept it. All right, so here's a great example in Exodus 36, 2, verse 2, 36, 2. Then Moses called Bezalel and Oholiab and every skillful person to whom the Lord had put skill, everyone whose heart stirred in him to come and perform the work. He placed the skill, he placed the desire. He made you for specific things that he wants to carry out. And we need to recognize those things. We need to maybe improve on some of those things, and we need to begin to walk and manifest in those others. It's time to be who we've been called to be. He made you. He has purpose for you. Okay, this next slide, as you can see in this circle, design plus desire equals destiny. Just what we were speaking to, how God made you, how he designed you, the desires that he's placed for you, where those places intersect. When you can go where that heart stirs, right? The desires of your heart moving in the places with the skills that God has given you. In the center is your vision statement. It is your purpose statement of life. It is your destiny. And when you begin to walk, it's like that sweet spot. You're moving in what God has called you, and things just start to come easy, and favor starts to open up, and just these divine things begin to happen as you voice with your mouth verbally and speak to your destiny, speak to your purpose, understanding who you are and who God has called you to be. That intersection, your design plus your desire, the desires of your heart. We're going to walk through a lesson here in a second. We have these false humility. You have been made wonderful. The Bible says so. You are great. You have authority. You have power. You are to take dominion. Recognize who you are and move in that. None of this false humility. When they talk about Jesus, meek is a great power because he knows his authority. He knows his Father. He knows who he is. He doesn't have to brag and boast. He has the love for all. And we need to see and move in that same way. God has given you a place in the future. You need to align your purpose. You need to align yourself with that future place so that you can have that purpose and the passion that we talked about and fulfill what God had given you and promised you. That destiny is something to discover. It is a beautiful journey. And God, as you move with Him, will continue to elevate the things in your life. He will make your skills greater as we walk in that constant growth.